Hi, it's Dr. Fox, licensed psychologist in the state of Texas, an expert in the area of personality disorders. And in this video, we're going to talk about being attracted to that same personality type, right? Perhaps you've had this experience that, you were the one type of person, you see all of these personality traits and things like that, and then you're like, I don't like those personality traits. And then it doesn't work out. So then you end up breaking up. Then you go out with someone else. And when you go out with that someone else, then you're like, hey, wait, this person has these same personality traits, right? Over and over and over again. So you keep dating, in essence, that same type of person. You keep having relationships with that same type of person. Well, why is that? Well, that's what we're going to explore in this video. Okay? So please like, share, and subscribe, and let's get started. Okay, so we've all kind of had that, right? Why are we gravitating to these same personality types? What is it about these individuals that kind of draws us in, right? That we are initially attracted to. And it's not even something conscious, right? It's something that you sort of feel. You feel connected to this person. So you go into a bar, let's say, right? If people still go to bars, let's say COVID thing's over. Right? And you're able to go into a bar. And then, right, so there's three different people. First person, sort of something. Second person, you're like, oh, they're kind of cool, but nothing. Then the third person, you're kind of like, hey, I'm really attracted to him or her. What is it about that? There's actually an attraction to the personality types and the expression of those different personality types. And what happens is that we all have these different personality types that we're attracted to, that we're comfortable with. Now understand that comfortable doesn't mean cozy. It's not like comfortable good. It just means what we're used to. That comfortability is what we're used to. So we gravitate to what we're used to, what we understand to be common, okay? To understand what we feel like we match with. And I think the best way to look at this is to imagine, right, that it is Christmas morning, right? Whether you celebrate it or not, right? Just roll with me with this example, right? So it's Christmas morning, right? You go downstairs, you get all these different packages, and all the different packages have different wrappings, right? They have different wrapping paper, different bows, different tags, whatever it is, right? They all have different sizes, things like that. But you open up the first package, right? And maybe it's a shiny wrapper, and it's the same gift inside, right? Then you go to the next one because it's shaped a little differently, right? Maybe it's a little bigger, it's a little smaller, whatever it is. So you unwrap it, same gift inside. Then, right, you go to the next, and that next one, right, maybe that one is a little awkwardly shaped, there's something about it, you're not quite sure. You unwrap it, same gift inside. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about that attraction, that connection. And it has to do somewhat with attachment, which I've done other videos on secure and insecure relationships and other attachment issues. But this is specifically, what is it about those personality components that kind of draws us? What is it that we feel connected to as they relate to those different personality patterns? And if they're not positive, can you do anything about it? Well, you actually can, right? So let's go a little bit more into this. So what happens is we actually end up connecting with those that reflect our sense of value. And what that means is, so if you don't really feel good about yourself, I think that there's a tendency to gravitate towards those who aren't very nice, who aren't very kind to you. Now, initially, that everybody, presumably is nice. That's one of those initial attractors. But once we sort of take away the layers, we take the mask off, you start to see that those are those personality components. Those are the components that attracted you. And you were able to kind of sniff it out, right? You can't actually smell it, right? You know what I mean? But you're attracted to it. There's something there. And it's that it reflects your sense of value. And what happens with a lot of folks along the BPD spectrum, or even other personality disorders or personality types, you don't even have to have a disorder. All of us do this. We're all attracted to particular personality types. And what happens is that we get indicators of that, small indicators of those personality types. And sometimes they're offhanded comments, sometimes they're backhanded comments, sometimes they're deriding comments, whatever they are. And you end up sort of connecting to that first. Okay, this person, and that's where that connection is, because they're tapping into your sense of worth and value that connects to your personality, to your view of self. And when that happens, that's that attraction. That's that initial attraction. And if you don't do any work on it, which we're going to talk about that in just a second, about how to do it differently, is that you end up over and over and over dating the same type of person that has these personality traits. You end up, right, Christmas morning or getting a gift, and it's always the same gift inside. The wrapping looks a little different, but it's the same gift inside. And that is the thing that I think a lot of folks struggle with. Like, why am I always dating the same type of person? Why are they always this? Why are they always that? Why are they always narcissistic? Why are they always neglectful? Why are they always, angry? Whatever it may be. And it's because of those initial indicators, but you can do it differently. So I work with a lot of my clients. Once we get to a point where we talk about like relationships, meeting people, and how that reflects our sense of self, we work on this. And how do we do it? Well, I'm going to tell you now. Okay, so the first thing we do is you have to recognize and be honest with yourself, the type that you're attracted to. What is it? So think back, right, about your longest term relationships, okay? And what were those similarity components, right? What were those personality components that were consistent across all the folks that you dated? And take out a piece of paper and a pen, or put it in your phone or wherever you want, but write it out, okay? So similar personality traits. And that could be they were outgoing. That could be that they were anxious. That could be that they were nervous. That could be that they had anger issues. That could be that they were very kind. That whatever it is, write them out. It doesn't always write out the negative, because we want to find the positive too. We want to build your awareness, particularly into those negatives. But then, okay, so you're going to make your list. You're going to make your list of those personality traits that you see most common in those that you've dated for a long period of time. Then what I want you to do is think about, what personality traits do you want in a partner, right? A lot of people say, well, I want someone who's patient. I want someone who's kind. I want someone who's cool like Dr. Fox. I want some, I was just kidding. But you could write that down. But so whatever you write out, so you write out those personality traits. Okay, then what I want you to do is write, how would it be exhibited? Like, how would you notice if somebody, let's say, is patient? Now, patient, right? You could say that when someone makes a mistake, they don't get upset. When you or someone else is running late, right? They don't seem to get frustrated. They seem to be able to wait in different circumstances, right? And that is that indicator, because we want to learn what are the components that we are going to be attracted to. Now, understand there's going to be a little bit of dissonance there, because you also have to work on yourself too. You also have to confront a lot of that inconsistency and that concern with those underlying issues, that maybe you don't feel like you deserve someone who's patient. Maybe you don't feel like that you deserve someone who's kind, that you deserve to be treated well, that you deserve to have someone who apologizes for wronging you, or somebody who actually avoids wronging you, disrespecting you. And sarcasm counts for this too. Sarcasm is an odd way of abusing someone else, right? It sounds funny and it can be written off as a joke, but it's actually very hurtful. So sarcasm, that may be something that you would want to avoid. People that are really sarcastic. That doesn't mean you can't take a joke, right? But that means that there's certain areas that are not funny, right? If you have areas of concern or things that you're maybe not comfortable with, but things with the way you look or the way you carry yourself or the job you have, whatever it is, and that person makes sarcastic comments about that, that hurts you, right? And you don't deserve that. So it's about recognizing that you don't deserve that and being true to yourself, saying that if someone says that to you, that you then have to establish that boundary where that's inappropriate. I'm not going to be with someone who treats me like that, who uses sarcasm to get away with abusing me. And if they do, they say, oh, it's just a joke. Then you have to explain to them, but it's not a joke to me and it's hurtful to me. And if they keep doing it, that is an impinging on your boundary. And that's when you push back and say, well, I wish you all the best. Beat it, right? And so there's some other things that you can do as well. And the last component to work on is that you want to work on your worth. You want to work on yourself. You want to work on what are the things inside of you, right, that you feel are your challenging personality traits. Maybe it's low patience. Maybe if we look at the 5 the 5-factor model, right? So that's openness to experience. How open are you to new experiences, to trying new things? If you are going to date different people, you're going to need to move up on that openness to experience, to try dating new people. Initially, you may be like, oh, they're bored, they're boring. That you got to be careful of that. We could do a whole video just on that, because what that means is that you could be equating passion with violence, passion with anxiety and upheaval in the relationship. That's not what passion really is. That's not what healthy passion is. And then, so going back to our 5-factor model, and then we say conscientiousness. So conscientiousness is a nice thing, right? So I like it in a lot of people that I work with. That means that they're consistent. That means that they worry about getting things done, following through on tasks. We want that. Now, what about E? The next one is extroversion, right? How outgoing are you? You don't want someone, perhaps you're not comfortable with somebody who's super outgoing, the life of the party. You prefer somebody who's a little more introverted, somebody who doesn't need to get energized with a large group of folks. By the way, being introverted is not a negative. That's not a personality disorder. That's just what you're comfortable with. I think it's important to remember that as well. And then there is agreeableness. So how agreeable are they, right? So if plans change, are those individuals able to sort of pivot when necessary, right? When those plans change, do they get upset? Do they get frustrated? Do they use sarcasm, right? Are they mean to you? Are they frustrated? Do they get angry and throw a tantrum, right? Adults throw tantrums. We know that. Okay, so how agreeable are they? And then that last one, what about neuroticism? So how anxious and neurotic are they, right? All of us have a degree of anxiety. And to a certain degree, anxiety is a good thing. It helps us move forward and helps us challenge things that we might be afraid of. But when we talk about neuroticism, we're talking about a really sort of negative, really adversely impacting sense of anxiety that really can cause problems. And if you mix sort of a low frustration tolerance and anxiety and neuroticism together, you can end up, not always, but you can end up with somebody that has really poor behavioral control, which means that they could act violently towards you. And that's one of the things, right? Are you worth more than that? And you have to challenge that yourself and using those different components. So look at the components in your partner. Look at those personality components. What do you want? What are the personality components you're seeing most common in those that you've dated? Okay, and which ones do you like? Which ones don't you? Then what about yourself, right? It's always important that we look back at ourselves. What are those personality components in us, okay, that we want to look at, that we want to change, that we want to focus on? And you have to keep trying. You try them every day throughout the day, and they will become a habit. But you have to unlearn those old negative habits to start learning new, better, adaptive habits. But you totally can do it. It is completely possible to change the relationships that you're in, to build your sense of attraction to people that are more healthy or healthier. How's that? Healthier for you. You can totally do it. It is completely possible, absolutely possible. I've done it working with my clients for a really, really long time. And some people are able to grasp onto it quicker than others, and that's okay. Your pace is your pace. Your pace doesn't have to be my client's pace or anybody else's. So I hope you found this helpful. Please like, share, and subscribe. And thank you very much. I wish you all the best. Take care. Bye-bye.